Video number 9, basic facial. First, we're going to discuss what I'm doing before a client even gets here. So, before my appointment comes, I am going to disinfect my workstation, bed, and equipment using a disinfectant wipe following manufacturer's instructions. I'm going to check all my equipment to ensure all the devices are in safe working order, plugged into a working receptacle. I'm going to gather clean supplies that are needed for the facial service, storing in a clean, closed container. I'm going to turn on the hot cabbie and stock with at least 3 clean, wet towels. Maybe more will be needed depending on the service and the client's needs. I'm going to fill clean steamer glass with distilled water. Preheat the steamer. I'm going to dispense products needed for the service according to the skin type and client's needs as follows. I will prepare disposable portion cup or tray for each product with a portion of product by opening the top of the container and ensuring that the tip of the nozzle does not come into contact with the disposable portion cup or tray. Or I can remove the product with a disinfected or clean single-use spatula, like that, and close the lid to the product and set the portion cup or tray on the tray. I will be draping my facial bed using 1 fitted sheet and 1 flat sheet with 3 towels. So we're going to place the clean sheets down and make the bed on a disinfected bed. We're going to place 1 towel horizontally, which I'll show you all this in a minute, at the top of the bed. We're going to lay a hairnet and a headband on top of the first towel, and then along with a rolled towel to support the head and neck of the client, and then we're going to save the 3rd towel to lay across the client's décolleté. So that's what we would do ahead of time before the client gets here, so her room is already set up. And the client is here, so we have welcomed and greeted the client and escorted the client to our workspace. And we're going to determine the client's preferences. At that time, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to assess the client's needs. And we assess the client's skin by performing a visual skin analysis to ensure that there is no inflamed, infected, broken, raised, or swollen skin in the area to be worked on, or an open wound or sore in the area to be worked on, infection or infestation like lice to prevent from safely performing the service. We will assess the client's consultation form for any medications and products that may have been used within the last 72 hours, and we'll consult on any known allergies. We will consult with the client on any facial surgeries within the last 3 months, and if the client is under a physician's care. We will assess if the client is prone to cold sores or fever blisters. We will assess if the client has used exfoliating or lightening agents within the past 72 hours, like alpha hydroxy acids or beta hydroxy acids or hydroquinone. We always encourage a sunscreen. And we will assess facial injections within the last 3 weeks, Botox or hyaluronic fillers. If the client is free from all of those contraindications, we can move forward with the procedure. So when I met her, I had clean hands. So I'm going to get her set up, and then I'm going to wash my hands again. So I let her put her cape on in private, and then I get her tucked in nicely in the bed. And then we have our towel, horizontal towel. And then we're going to put this nice rolled towel underneath her head and neck for support. I have a headband here that I'm going to put on her to keep her hair back. Now, unfortunately, this headband has not been working well, so it's probably going to come off in just a minute, but you can see that I'm putting it on. And then a towel here to cover the décolleté. So she's set, and now it's my turn to get set. Time for me to wash my hands. So I turn on the water and I wash my hands with a well, I wet them, and then I get a coin-sized amount of liquid hand soap, and I wash my palms together all the way down to the wrist. And then I wash the back of my hands. And then I take the time to wash between my fingers. And I wash my fingers. I wash the back of my fingers. I wash between my fingers and my thumb. I wash my fingertips and nails. I wash my thumbs. I wash interlocking my fingers together. And I have to do this for at least 20 or 30 seconds, all the stuff I'm talking about. I wash my wrists. Then I thoroughly rinse my hands under the water. And when they have had a proper wash, I grab a paper towel to turn off the water with, and then I can dry my hands with that paper towel. And once my hands are properly dried, I grab my hand sanitizer and I finish my hand cleanse with hand sanitizer. Okay. So now I'm going to go to my gorgeous client here and start her service. First clean, first cleanse. Okay, so I've done a first cleanse. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and protect her eyes. So I can bring my magnifying lamp over and turn it on so I can perform a skin analysis. So let's just pretend like I've done that. My lamp is over here and on. And we're doing a nice check. So what I'm looking for right now is some things that we talked about. Some flakiness, some excess sebum, some fine lines. Maybe I'm looking for freckling or abrasions. I'm just really checking everything out. So I'm giving her a real proper investigation under that magnifying lamp. So it also gives me time to think about some aftercare, some other stuff to manage, like when we're done. Maintenance, like some things to recommend for her, like routine-wise, some skincare products, but also maybe some treatments that we could do. So it's just doing a minute to really check everything out and see what we feel like she really needs at this point. I have to say that I feel like her skin is pretty great, that what she came in today was she's concerned with her, she's having breakout, and she hasn't had that in a really long time. So we've checked all that out, and she looks awesome. So I'm going to turn the light off and move it out of the way so that we can continue her service. So those would go in the trash. And now it is time for cleanse number 2. cleanse. Time for toner. Now it is time for exfoliation. So with your exfoliator, you want to read your manufacturer's directions, but you're going to massage it in for approximately like 1 to 2 minutes. At this point, we would be retrieving our steamer and turning it to the on position, but we would face it away from the client. And we're going to let that water heat up and then begin to emit an even outflow of a mist. Once that's happened, then you can position the steamer near the client. So you can turn it towards the client, and you want it about 16 inches away from the face, and you want it aimed at the client's chin so that it can evenly distribute over that way. And you would actually leave that steamer going for 3 to 5 minutes, but because we're doing a video, we are not going to, and we don't have a steamer, we are going to just move ahead. So we'll pretend like we've done that steamer for 3 to 5 minutes, and now it's done. We turn the steamer off, and we've moved it to where it was before so that we can store it there for disinfection. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my cabbie to get a nice hot steamy towel out, pretend, but we're going to go through that route to remove the exfoliation. So we've got our towel right here, and oh my goodness, we're going to pretend like it's like super hot. So I'm going to check it on my wrist to make sure that it's comfortable, and then I'm going to take it over here and check it on her collarbone once I feel like it's comfortable on me. She says it's great. So what that means is we are now going to do a nice little wrap on her. Keeping her nose out. Now I need to put my gloves on because it's time for extractions. I've got some disposable gloves that I want to put on. And this was my client's concern, so I'm going to take a minute here and make sure I do everything right. So I'm going to be using wooden tipped cotton that has been soaked in antiseptic for each one of these extractions that I have to toss it. So single use or single extraction only. If I could also use the rounds soaked in antiseptic with my hands, I'm going to use these. And she really only needs to have a couple, but she's worried about it in her little chin area, so we're going to work on it. So these are going to go in the trash. Get a new tube for another extraction. Okay. One more. And you wouldn't want to do this for more than 5 to 7 minutes. It would be too uncomfortable for a client. And done. So I'm going to take off my gloves now and throw them away. Time for some toner. Good thing the extractions were over, because now it's probably her favorite time. It's going to be massage time. So after our massage, I removed the massage product, and then I found my mask, facial mask, which I just applied with the fan brush. And we would go by manufacturer's directions, of course, but you generally let the mask sit for 5 to 10 minutes, whatever the recommendations are. But of course, once again, we are doing the old video, so we're not going to let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. We are going to move forward, and we're going to remove the mask. And I'm actually going to use another towel out of my caddy. This girl's just going to get extra pampered. It feels so much better to have a steam towel. So we're going to grab our towel and we're going to shake it out because it's hot, and we got to check it again on our wrist. Oh, that's not too bad. So let's take it on her collarbone. She says it's fine. And we're keeping her nose out, of course. And she is glowing. Glowing. Super glowy. Okay, so we are going to now apply a little eye cream to finish up with the ring finger here. We're going to tap it, of course, on the brow bone and, the arch of the brow, zygomatic arch and the brow bone. Very nice. And we need some moisturizer. Sun's still out a little bit, getting ready to go down, but we're going to still give her a moisturizer with SPF because it's still out. Might as well do the smart thing. And we're going to apply the moisturizer everywhere that she might have some sun exposure. So face, forehead, neck, chest, décolleté, maybe even ears if her hair is short or back. And her skin looks just flawless. So good. And that concludes her facial. So what I will do now is let her take her cape off and everything, get dressed, meet me, and then we will discuss maintenance, aftercare plan for her, and then she can go. All of my single-use items are discarded at this point. We're going to be placing implements right now in a closed container labeled to be disinfected. For example, the brush that I use for the mask, the sheets, the towels, her cape, everything would be put in a closed container until laundered. And then I need to clean up my work area and disinfect it. So I'm going to identify proper cleaning agent, read the manufacturer's directions, and then I will follow the manufacturer's directions for mixing and usage. I'm going to wipe my workstation and area with the cleaning solution to remove debris. I will then identify a disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal, EPA approved for use in a salon setting. I'll follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and or using appropriate aerosol disinfectant. I will disinfect electrical equipment stored in a clean area separate from other implements. And if I had gloves on, I would remove them at this point, and then to finish, I need to wash my hands. So I'm going to turn the water on, and I'm going to wet my hands with water, and then I'm going to get a coin-sized amount of liquid soap, and I'm going to rub my palms together down to the wrists. I am going to wash the back of my hands. I am going to wash all my fingers. So interlace my fingers, washing all my fingers, front side, in between, backs of my fingers, fingertips and nails have to be washed, between my fingers and my thumbs. I'm going to interlock and do this movement here underneath the water for minimum 20 to 30 seconds. I'm going to wash my wrists. I am going to thoroughly rinse off all of the soap under the water. When I feel like I've had my proper rinse, I will find the paper towels. I'll grab the paper towel, and I'm going to turn the water off with my hand with the paper towel, and then I'll start drying my hands, which need to be thoroughly dried, of course. Once they're thoroughly dried, I can discard of the paper towels, and then to finish hand wash, I have to find hand sanitizer and essentially go through the same hand washing procedure with the hand sanitizer on, moving it through all the proper places and ways until my hands are completely dry. And at that point, when my hands are completely dry, I can begin to prepare for another client or carry on and be done and go home. So that concludes basic facial video number 9. No, number 10.